Welcome to Hidden Surprises, where the everyday becomes extraordinary. Have you ever stopped to wonder about the wild secrets lurking behind the stuff you use every single day? Nah, not the big flashy stuff. We're talking toothbrushes, light bulbs, even paperclips. Well, get ready, because today we're counting down 30 mind-blowing facts that are going to make you see these ordinary items in a whole new way. Buckle up, because things are about to get weird, fun, and totally fascinating. Number 30. The toothbrush's evolution. You start your day with it, but did you know that the modern toothbrush wasn't invented until 1938? Before that, people used twigs, feathers, and even crushed bones to clean their teeth. The earliest known toothbrushes were found in ancient Babylon, made from frayed sticks called chew sticks, showing that oral hygiene has always been a priority, just in very different forms. Number 29. Paperclips and their wartime secret. That simple paperclip holding your documents together played an unexpected role during World War II. Norwegian resistance fighters used paperclips as a symbol of unity against the Nazis, as they were not allowed to display their national flag. Who knew this everyday office item was also a silent protest tool? Number 28. The hidden health hazard in lipstick. Lipstick has long been a makeup staple, but did you know it used to contain dangerous substances like lead? In ancient times, Egyptian and Roman women used lip color made from crushed gemstones and toxic mercury. While today's lipsticks are far safer, it's still worth checking the ingredients list before swiping it on. Number 27. The light bulb that never burns out. Speaking of illuminating facts, there's a light bulb in Livermore, California that has been glowing almost non-stop since 1901. This centennial light has earned a Guinness World Record for its longevity, defying the common belief that light bulbs burn out after a few years. Its secret remains a mystery, even to scientists. Number 26. The secret behind your morning coffee. That cup of coffee you cherish every morning has a history of being banned in multiple places. In the 16th century, it was outlawed in Mecca because authorities thought it stimulated radical thinking, and it was banned in Sweden in the 18th century by King Gustav III, who feared it caused insanity. Thankfully, coffee survived the bans, becoming the world's most popular beverage. Number 25. The secret origin of bubble wrap. Bubble wrap isn't just for protecting fragile items. It was originally intended to be wallpaper. Inventors Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavans created bubble wrap in 1957 while trying to develop textured wallpaper. When the wallpaper idea failed, they realized its potential as a packaging material. Now it's more famous for stress-relieving pops than for home decor. Number 24. The surprising history of the Q-tip. You've probably used a Q-tip to clean your ears, but that's not its intended use. Invented in 1923 by Leo Gerstenzong, Q-tips were initially designed for baby care. In fact, doctors now warn against using them to clean ears, as it can push wax further inside, potentially causing damage. Number 23. The unexpected origins of the ice cream cone. The ice cream cone was invented by accident. During the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair, an ice cream vendor ran out of dishes. In a pinch, a nearby waffle vendor rolled his waffles into cones to help out. It became an instant hit, and the ice cream cone was born, revolutionizing how we enjoy this sweet treat. Number 22. Velcro. Was inspired by nature. Velcro is one of those everyday items we never think about, but its creation was inspired by a simple walk in nature. Swiss engineer George de Mestral invented Velcro in the 1940s after noticing how burrs clung to his dog's fur. After studying their tiny hooks under a microscope, he created this iconic fastening system. Number 21. The sneaky origins of the shopping cart. Today's grocery trips would be unthinkable without shopping carts, but when they were introduced in the 1930s, customers refused to use them. Shoppers saw them as inconvenient and embarrassing, so grocery store owner Sylvan Goldman hired actors to push carts around the store to make them seem more fashionable. The idea caught on, and now we can't imagine shopping without them. Number 20. The microwave's accidental discovery. The microwave oven, a kitchen staple, was discovered by accident. In 1945, engineer Percy Spencer was working on radar technology when he noticed the chocolate bar in his pocket had melted. Curious, he experimented further and found that microwaves could cook food. The first commercial microwave, launched in 1947, was nearly 6 feet tall and weighed 750 pounds. Quite a difference from today's compact versions. Number 19. The real use of WD-40. WD-40 is famous for fixing squeaky hinges, but it was originally created to protect spacecraft. In 1953, chemists developed it for the aerospace industry to prevent rust on missile parts. The WD stands for water displacement, and it was the 40th formula tested, hence the name WD-40. Little did they know, it would end up in nearly every household for countless other uses. Number 18. Post-its were a failed experiment. Post-it notes came about by accident when 3M scientist Spencer Silver was trying to create a super strong adhesive. Instead, he made a weak, pressure-sensitive glue that could be peeled off easily. Years later, his colleague used it to stick bookmarks in his choir hymnal, leading to the invention of Post-it notes, now a must-have in every office. Number 17. Rubber gloves were made for love. Rubber gloves may be a kitchen essential, but they were invented in 1894 for a much sweeter reason. Dr. William Halstead's fiancée, who was a nurse, developed dermatitis from harsh disinfectants. To protect her hands, Halstead had Goodyear make custom rubber gloves for her, and thus an everyday household item was born, all for the sake of love. Number 16. The strange story of canned food and the can opener. Canned food has been around since the early 1800s, but the can opener wasn't invented until 1858, 48 years later. Until then, people had to use hammers and chisels to open cans, which was quite an ordeal. When the can opener was finally invented, it revolutionized food storage and made life in the kitchen a whole lot easier. Number 15. The alarm clock's ancient roots. The alarm clock is something we all depend on, but did you know its origins date back to ancient Greece? A philosopher named Plato had a water clock that used flowing water to trigger a sound, waking him up in time for his lectures. The idea of mechanical alarms wouldn't take off until much later, but Plato's invention shows that even in ancient times, people struggled with getting out of bed. Number 14. The first remote control. Wasn't for TVs. Remote controls are synonymous with television, but the first remote control wasn't for changing channels. It was created in 1898 by Nikola Tesla to control a boat. Tesla demonstrated his invention to a stunned audience, showcasing how radio waves could be used to remotely control devices. It wasn't until the 1950s that remote controls became common for TVs. Number 13. The pen that writes in space. Ballpoint pens are everywhere, but astronauts can't use them in space. Regular ink won't flow in zero gravity, so NASA spent $1 million developing the Space Pen, which uses pressurized ink cartridges to write in any condition, upside down, underwater, or even in space. Interestingly, Soviet cosmonauts used pencils instead. Number 12. The surprising origins of the thermos. The thermos you use to keep your coffee hot or your water cold was originally invented for scientists. In 1892, Scottish scientist Sir James Dewar created it to store liquefied gases at extremely low temperatures. It wasn't until a German company saw its potential for everyday use that it became the popular household item we know today. Number 11. The long history of sunglasses. Sunglasses aren't just for style. They were once used to hide emotions. In 12th century China, judges wore sunglasses made of smoky quartz to conceal their expressions in court. This early use of shades wasn't for UV protection, but to keep a poker face during trials. It wasn't until the 20th century that sunglasses became a fashion statement and a tool for eye protection. Number 10. The mystery of blue jeans. Blue jeans are a wardrobe staple today, but did you know they were originally designed for miners? Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis patented the design in 1873 to create durable work pants reinforced with copper rivets. The blue dye? That came from indigo, one of the only dyes available that didn't fade after repeated washing. What started as workwear became a fashion icon. Number 9. The life-saving origins of duct tape. Duct tape's tough reputation is well-earned, but it wasn't originally designed for household repairs. During World War II, it was created to seal ammunition boxes and keep moisture out. Soldiers found it so versatile that they used it for everything from fixing tents to repairing vehicles. And after the war, it found its way into our homes for all sorts of repairs. Number 8. The secret behind tea bags. Tea bags are so convenient that it's hard to imagine life without them, but they were actually invented by accident. In the early 1900s, a tea merchant named Thomas Sullivan sent samples of his tea to customers in small silk bags. Instead of removing the tea, customers dunked the entire bag into hot water, and the tea bag was born. Number 7. How the zipper got its zip. The zipper is a fastener we all rely on, but it took nearly 20 years to perfect. Inventor Whitcomb Judson patented the first version in 1893, but it kept jamming. It wasn't until Gideon Sundback improved the design in 1913 that the modern zipper became a success. Now, zippers are used in everything from clothing to luggage, revolutionizing how we fasten things together. Number 6. The fascinating story of bubblegum was invented by a curious accountant. In 1928, Walter Deemer was working for the Fleer Chewing Gum Company when he accidentally created a formula that was less sticky and more elastic than regular gum. He added pink coloring because it was the only dye available. And voila, bubblegum was born. Its stretchy texture made blowing bubbles possible, and the rest is sweet history. Number 5. The unexpected purpose of credit cards. Credit cards are a financial tool most of us use daily, but their invention came from an embarrassing moment at a restaurant. In 1949, businessman Frank McNamara forgot his wallet while dining out. To avoid the awkwardness of not being able to pay, he later developed the idea of a credit card, allowing customers to pay with a card instead of cash. This gave birth to the Diners Club card, the first credit card, and changed the way we shop forever. Number 4. Why postage stamps have glue on the back. You probably don't think twice about licking a postage stamp, but in the past, mailing letters was much messier. The first stamps, introduced in 1840, didn't have adhesive backing, so people had to use wax or glue to attach them to envelopes. The adhesive stamp was a revolutionary convenience, making mailing faster and cleaner. Though thankfully, most stamps are now self-adhesive. Number 3. The strange origins of bubble wrap as therapy. We've already mentioned that bubble wrap was initially intended as wallpaper, but did you know it's also used for therapeutic purposes? Some occupational therapists recommend popping bubble wrap as a form of stress relief because the repetitive action can help reduce anxiety. So next time you pop those bubbles, you're not just having fun, you're also engaging in a soothing activity. Number 2. The little-known fact about paper bags. Paper bags might seem like a simple, eco-friendly alternative to plastic, but they also revolutionized retail in the late 1800s. Before them, shoppers had to bring their own containers. Paper bags, invented by Francis Wool in 1852, made shopping more convenient and led to the creation of shopping bags with handles. Today, they remain a symbol of sustainability in retail, especially with the push to reduce plastic waste. Number 1. The surprising history of hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer is a staple in modern hygiene, but it wasn't invented for public use until the 1960s. It was initially created for healthcare workers who needed a quick and effective way to sanitize their hands in medical settings. And that wraps up our list of 30 uncommon facts about things you use daily. Each one of these ordinary items has an extraordinary story behind it, proving that even the most familiar objects have secrets waiting to be discovered. If you loved uncovering these surprising facts with us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us keep exploring the hidden stories behind everyday life. Thanks for watching, and we can't wait to bring you more fascinating content in our next video.